I'm here to kick ass and make steaks, and I'm all out of steaks.
Year one, he was like, all right, guys, I don't know what Dom taught you, but you need to have 11 guys on the field.
A trained orangutan could have done a better job than Ron Jones. I mean, not even like well trained.
Welcome, Packers fans, to the Titletown Sound Podcast, episode 235 of the Titletown Sound Podcast. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the podcast for Packers fans and fans of pretzels. Now, my co-host, a man who has been twisting himself into different shapes all day trying to find a way to justify this draft. It's James Corsmo. James, how you doing?
You sound like everybody on my Twitter feed right now.
Oh, no.
I'm good, though. I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, not bad. Now a man whose pretzels are making him thirsty. Kevin Christopher. Kev, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
What
all things considered.
What is your impression or your opinion of a pretzel as a snack?
Soft pretzel, 2 thumbs up. Hard pretzel, you got to be hard up for a snack.
All right. I think that's fair.
Yep.
We obviously are going to talk about what happened in the last several days. We're going to talk about the draft. But gentlemen, I didn't think we were qualified to do that alone. I mean, we know we're not. But so I asked a guest to join us. He is related to 2 of us, and he likes the other one of us, probably more. I'm going to introduce Papa K is coming into the stream, and here he is. So I have my opinions. James, Kevin, I know you have yours. But I know, Papa K, you sent us a call, and then we decided we want to talk about this, and you want to come, and I asked you to come on. So what is your take on everything that went on from Thursday until today?
When I saw that the Packers had traded up to number 26, I thought,
we had this problem before where sometimes,
of course,
hold on, Dad. The audio or the video froze for a second. And for those people who weren't paying attention, and maybe you weren't, I get it because it's a weird time. The Packers did trade up from 26 to take a quarterback, Jordan Love. So Dad, what were you saying before we froze again?
Well, when I saw quarterback Jordan Love was the pick, the air kind of went out of the balloon because I was not expecting that at all. And of course, wanting immediate help, that was not my idea of immediate help. As I've thought about it, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, probably too much, I have gone back over the 70s and 80s when I was a fan and the terrible quarterback play that.
All right, froze again. But yeah, I know where he's going on this. 70s and 80s.
Very taggy.
Yeah, we lost you there, but the quarterback play was terrible. So you're saying you've come around a little bit because
you can't win in that league without good quarterbacking. And if these guys think that Jordan Love is really a good quarterback and really can keep the winning going, they know better than I do. So by about a 51 to 49% vote, I kind of have gone on to take it because you keep hearing if there's a really good quarterback, you've got to take him. So,
okay. So there's 2 parts to this draft that we're going to talk about. Like, I think when it comes to fans' abject anger or confusion or disbelief or all of the above.
I don't know what any of those words mean, by the way.
That's why we got you a thesaurus for Christmas. But if you look at the criticism of this draft, the one part is trading up to take a quarterback, and this quarterback in particular. Part 2 is about not addressing the needs for the team. So let's talk about that part 1 first. That is where you're trading up to take Jordan Love, who is now the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers. And let's talk about that first, because I've seen people saying, well, you know what? Backup quarterback has been a need, and that's what they were doing. They were filling that need. James, they weren't filling a backup quarterback need by taking a quarterback in the first round.
No, having a hopefully competent backup quarterback will be kind of a byproduct of this draft pick. It's just kind of like it's a happy coincidence. They picked Jordan Love to be the next starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers from 2023, possibly 24, until whenever. Now, I don't know about the next year or two draft class of quarterbacks. I know that Trevor Lawrence from one of the SEC schools, was that Auburn? No, not Auburn.
Clemson.
Yeah, thank you. Clemson. I can see the helmets in my head because they're ugly. Clemson. I know he's being touted as, being big time. But other than that, I don't think there's a huge crop out there. So I think that Goody and LaFleur were in love with love, which sounds like a terrible 60s like Carpenter's album. They
Goody and LaFleur in love with love.
it's like Seals and Crofts. I think they had their heart set on him weeks ago. I think it was Jordan Love or bust in the first round, and okay, that's great. They think he's the only quarterback that's going to be able to lead them forward, that they're able to draft in the next couple of years. So they did what they wanted. They did what they felt was best for the team in the future.
Right. So I think I've become. I should have brought the tinfoil with me to the podcast, but I have become the tinfoil conspiracy theorist who believes that the Packers, like we talked about last time, the Packers think that there will not be a 2020 season. As far as the pick of Jordan Love, this is not the part of the draft that really irks me, except for the timing. To me, this seems like it is a year early. So you can get out from under Aaron Rodgers' contract in, like you said, 2023. It's possible that you could have Jordan Love with some cap hit, dead space, dead money cap hit in 2023. So the earliest it makes sense for him to quarterback, barring catastrophic injury or retirement, is 3 years from now. It's not a bad model, but it also puts a bookend or a back bracket on Aaron Rodgers' time in Green Bay, at least as a starting quarterback. He could still remain a resident, I guess. But that's the thing that bugged me about this pick, that I feel like it's early. Just a year, just a season. And I think that one season is a big deal.
So, Chris, I know we had talked about this over Instant Messenger or whatever. I think that if you look at it in the context of where we are right now, I don't necessarily know if you can be concerned too much about future timelines. I think it makes sense for the Packers now to take a quarterback if they think the quarterback is going to help them in the future. I think the reason is because it might not work out 100% with Aaron Rodgers' contract, if college football doesn't play or if they're extremely shortened or whatever, players currently in college will regress. So your next crop of players coming out aren't going to be as good as they are this year. I mean, theoretically, obviously there's going to be some exceptions to that, right? And that might trickle down for a couple of years, depending on how long this lasts. So if you don't get a quarterback now because of the contract and you wait a year or two, you might be stuck in that rut of, oh, well, there aren't any good quarterbacks. Like, we missed our opportunity and now the window has closed and we don't have that quarterback. So I'm okay with taking the quarterback and possibly in 4 or 5 years having 3, 4, 5 years having some, contract questions. Because I don't personally think, it might affect Aaron Rodgers to have to draft this guy. I don't think it can. For Aaron Rodgers' own persona, I don't think it can, because he's the chip on the shoulder guy, right? So he can't all of a sudden become chip on the shoulder guy and now he's pissed off guy because he doesn't get his way, right? Like, he's got to get a chip on his shoulder again, right? Maybe, I don't know. That's the way that I would look at it. And I just think that timing right now is a little bit different for everything, and that's not really what my concern would be. So I kind of like it because it makes sense to me as a future move.
All right, Dad, what have we missed about this? What are the equation that we missed with this pick?
Well, I think several things in my mind, for my opinion, went into this. I think that LaFleur wants his own guy eventually running this offense, this play action off the run offense. I don't think deep down he believes that Rodgers is the guy to do that. Rodgers wants to throw the ball. Rodgers changes the play a lot at the line of scrimmage. And I think LaFleur would like his own guy that would be a little more coachable, a guy who would go along with him a little bit more. At least that's my opinion. And the other thing, too, is if the Packers wait, let's say, till 2022, Rodgers would be 38 in that season. And
that's old.
That is very old.
We've seen had some injury issues. Do you really want to be, when he's 38, trying to find a quarterback? I think that's another part of the issue also.
But I think we have to agree that this puts that end bracket on Aaron Rodgers' career as a starting quarterback in Green Bay.
It might, but with the uncertainty of the timing of this year, I don't know if you have any other choice. Because if you don't do it,
Okay, I'm not even going to argue with you on the merits of it because I don't mind. Look, this is an unpopular opinion among Packers fandom, but I don't mind. Like, I find it exciting when you have new stuff going. Like, to me, this is entertainment. I'd love to see them win Super Bowls, but if you can't enjoy the entertainment of this soap opera as it unfolds, then what's the point of this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go bet on Red and Black if you want to, but like, that's the point.
Did we not learn anything from the last time this happened? Like, if there was any lesson to be learned from the Favre-Rodgers debacle in 2009, it was enjoy this as a fan. Don't take it too seriously and think. There are people out there that like feel like Goody slapped him in the perineum with a cactus.
Like little quick whips, those are big rounds.
Like, they're taking this extremely personally, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's his team, like he's the GM, he's running it. Just sit back and watch it happen. And if you don't agree with it, that's fine. You're more than entitled to have your opinion, but like, it's not going to change anything. And in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, if Jordan Love comes out and he's going to Pro Bowls, and he's Aaron Rodgers part 2, or more like Patrick Mahomes, I guess is a better comp for him. You're going to look really freaking stupid. So just let it happen.
Here's how I feel about this. I hate this draft with just about every fiber of my being, but I find it entertaining as hell. Like, I'm not upset or like I haven't been moping about it. Like, I hate it, and I think they did some things wrong, but they're better at this than I am. I hope they are. So I don't care. Like, it's just, this is entertainment. But then I raise this question to you, and I'll give it to you first, Papa K. Rodgers is done in 2023. What if he wins a Super Bowl in 2022?
Well, I think there are so many uncertainties about all of this. We don't know if there's going to be a season this year, let alone what's going to happen in future years. I agree. You sit back, you watch it, you enjoy it, and see how it
plays out.
Yeah.
Before his internet froze on him. It was going to be
plays out. Injured.
Oh, perfect. Plays out. You froze, and we were guessing what your next phrase was going to be, and we were very proud to say it was plays out.
You guys owe me $40.
Okay, so we've talked about the first pick of the draft. Now let's go to the rest of the draft. This is where most Packers fans, I think, were of the opinion, all right, they wanted to get their guy. As long as they take a good receiver in the second round, I'll be good. James, they did not, in fact, select a receiver in the second round, did they? Nor in any other round for that matter. Okay, so I was going to ask a quick question, like a behind the numbers type of question, if you don't mind breaking down the stats, could you?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'll break it down.
How many players that could be described as a hybrid fullback did they draft?
2.
How many players that could be described as wide receivers did they draft?
John Runyon, I think, could probably be flexed out. 0. That'd be 0.
Uh,
Can I just say real quick? I don't
Yeah.
follow the draft that much because I don't get into college football. So it's always great when the draft happens and players get taken, and John Runyon Jr. and Antoine Winfield Jr. are getting selected. Like, damn, these guys are old. They got kids. Like, what's going on here?
It's nuts.
the third. Like, how old am I? Okay. Yeah. So fans believe this was going to be a wide receiver, that they're going to pick the wide receiver. Dad, overall, tell us what this draft was all about.
Well, first of all, as far as
wide receivers, that was coming up next. Wide receiver.
Wide receivers. Okay.
wide receivers caught 111 passes in Canada. I mean, that's no small deal, and he's going to factor in. And we have to remember too that Devontae Adams didn't really come onto the scene as a top receiver until his third year. And the Packers have MVS and Equanimeous St. Brown coming into their third year. So if you're a draft and develop team, if you draft the guys, you got to give them a chance to develop. And that's a way that I looked at why they didn't draft a receiver. Gutekunst said that after a certain point, after the top, that he didn't figure that any of those guys could come in and contribute. I think what he's going to do is trade like for a Kenny Stills or somebody like that and bring a veteran in before all is said and done. And if he does that, I think a lot of the unhappiness will fade just a little bit.
And notoriously, wide receiver.
Hold on real quick. Dakota asks, why does it only happen, the freezing, when Papa K talking? That's because he is operating on internet that is largely strings and solo cups. Kevin, that's not your fault, Dad. That's Kevin's fault because he set up your internet service. So we'll have to do an audit.
I was going to say, in terms of developing players, I think wide receiver is probably one of the hardest. So to me, it makes sense that you wouldn't take a wide receiver in a year where you're not sure if you're ever going to get to see them. So I don't necessarily, if you don't think that a guy is ready to jump on the field now, it would make sense to me that you would pass on him because you're not going to have an opportunity to develop them in the next,
So is part of this, and I what you're saying, I think, and what Papa K, what you said, it makes sense. So part of this wasn't that the Packers didn't see wide receiver. Well, no, I'm sorry. Part of this wasn't that the Packers decide to ignore the wide receiver position. It's that they believed what they have was pretty okay. And that's how I would describe this. Pretty okay. But Papa K may have frozen again. And if that's the case, he may have had,
he just needs to stretch.
He might be asleep. Yes, James, they like this wide receiving core more than we thought.
They do. And honestly, okay, so here's my theory on it. And Gutekunst is going to deny this, and so is LaFleur, but of course they are, because who wants to let the league know what they're going to do? This isn't going to be the Green Bay Packers offense that we've come to know and love for the last 15, 18 years. It's not going to be a pass first, pass offense. They're going to be running the ball a lot more, and they're going to be basing a lot of their passing concepts off of running looks. And we have this pick, to me, the AJ Dillon pick, to me, is really fascinating because to me it shows that they're melding. It's like a hybrid of the now and the future, because this next year coming up is contract years for Kenny Clark, Bakhtiari, and Aaron Jones. Out of those three guys, who are you going to let go? You're going to let Aaron Jones go. Running backs, as great as he is and as sad as I'm going to be in Gabe.
Wait, did James really freeze?
Yeah, James has.
Oh, James is back? There you go.
Yeah, we thought he had Bill's internet connection there for a second.
Did you hear anything I just said?
Yeah, we heard that you said that Aaron Jones is going to be the one to go, and then we lost you.
Well, immediately after that, I was preparing Gabe. I was trying to get Gabe to have his left blinker at the ready.
We should send him a new bulb just to make sure.
But I mean, so Aaron Jones is I think gone after this year. And what are you going to have in his place? You're going to have a big, a bowling ball type running back, Derrick Henry Jr. And it is what it is. It's going to be a different offense, and that's just how it's going to be.
But what do you think about the people that were saying that, like Dillon, for instance, was taken, 2 rounds early, or what's your opinion on that?
Were any of them NFL GMs? If they were, I'll listen to them. If they're Scott sitting in his basement with a bag of cheese doodles and a PFF subscription, I give him no merit. I really.
Now, if it's Scott Neer, I give him all the merit.
Well, yeah, he gets all the merit. He gets every merit. But if it's Scott, Schliffenblurber sitting in his basement,
there's no one named Scott Schliffenblurber. I'm pretty sure.
If your name is Scott Schliffenberger, we'll find something.
No, you got to become a patron if your name is Scott Solution. Let's face it. All right, Papa K is coming back. Hopefully, I believe he had the internet replaced at his house, so he should be a little bit better, a little stronger now.
Cell telephone came by.
What James was saying, I guess, there is that the Dillon pick maybe not as wild as people think. It's to replace Aaron Jones in the future because they're not going to give him that huge contract. What do you think about that?
I think it's going to be like San Francisco.
Go. San Francisco.
Yes.
Go.
Yes. Oh God!
This is killing me now.
I'm gonna have to.
When they had Dillon, Jones catching passes.
Well,
I agree with everything.
I think it offers.
True words have never been said.
we lost you. Dad, we're gonna have to figure out how the connection and get you back on at some point. I'm gonna play your call and we're gonna discuss some more stuff, but it's just the connection isn't working, unfortunately.
Where's Bill O'Reilly when you need it? When you need him?
Bill O'Reilly at the bottom of the ocean.
We'll do it live.
All right, Dad. We'll catch up with you later. I'll play your call and we'll kind of discuss what's going on there. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye, Papa. No, he was sad.
So yeah, let's play the call that he called it with. And I don't know if any of it should have would have changed by now, but let's hear what he had to say.
Hi, this is Papa K calling after day 2 of the NFL draft, after the Packers and the other teams have completed 3 rounds of the NFL draft. Initially, I was going to call in after the selection of Jordan Love, but I was all over the place as to my feelings about that pick. So I decided to wait until after the second night of the draft and offer some facts and some opinions related to the first 2 days of this very controversial Packer draft. A fact, Brian Gutekunst has made it clear that Matt LaFleur wants to run the ball and use the pass off of play action. It sounds very much like the Kyle Shanahan San Francisco offense that was so successful against the Packers last year. You recall that offense used 3 running backs. They had Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman, and Raheem Mostert. So the Packers, in drafting Dillon today, seem to be following that same model with Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones, and now Dillon. We'll see how that plays out. But Gutekunst has made it clear that's the direction that he and LaFleur seem to be going, hence no choosing of a big-name wide receiver. Another fact, a quote that was often heard during this draft, quote, quarterbacks are hard to find. If you see one that you think can be a winner at the NFL level, you get him, end quote. That was what was behind, evidently, the picking of Jordan Love, that and several other factors that have gone into this choice. Another fact, Tampa Bay and New Orleans are all in this year for a Super Bowl run, and there is no quarterback of the future on their rosters, and that includes Taysom Hill of the Saints. I'm not at all sure he would be considered the quarterback of the future for that team. Now, whether we as Packer fans are happy about it or not, the Packers appear to have that quarterback of the future now on their roster. Whether or not it plays out as that remains to be seen. But that's evidently the plan. And another fact, many in the national media and many Packer fans are criticizing this Packer draft so far. I have been all over the place, as I said, as to whether or not I like these picks. I've just decided that I'm going to wait a couple years to see how this all plays out because I simply don't know. This whole thing is quite a head scratcher, and it's going to take time to play out. Now some opinions. Opinion number one, Matt LaFleur wants his own man as quarterback. We know that when general managers come in, they often let go the coaches so that they can bring in their own man, just like coaches will let go of assistants because they want their own guys. Well, I think that's what LaFleur wants, and that man, his own man, is not Aaron Rodgers. I believe he wants someone who will run the plays as they're called and someone who will more readily accept coaching. Jordan Love appears to be the candidate for that role, in my opinion. Another opinion, Aaron Rodgers will not finish his career in Green Bay. Part of that, in my opinion, is that both he and the organization might be getting a little tired of each other, and that a change of scenery, not now, but within 2 or 3 years, might be best for everyone concerned. I think this change could very well take place after the huge cap hits are passed, the cap hits that would take place if Rodgers were to be cut or traded. Another opinion. The Packers have lost ground to the Saints, 49ers, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Dallas in the NFC. And that's what's the most worrisome aspect to me of this offseason. But of course, we hope to have the games to play to see if in fact, this plays out. We hope not, but that's my opinion. And finally, the passion of Packer fans has been on full display with this draft. With most of us cooped up, it's been great to really get into the draft and blow off some steam and give our opinions on something that matters so much to us. Now we just need to get the games to happen and get at least most of this virus behind us. Thanks for listening. Good night.
I thought he was talking about the draft when he said most of this virus, but I guess he means the actual virus itself. All right, so a lot of what we talked about was in there, but also I think this is one thing we haven't talked about yet, James. This team did not get better through this draft, at least not short term. I guess that's an extreme thing to say. Didn't get notably better, or at least it feels like that. What's your opinion on that?
I can understand why it feels like that. I don't necessarily subscribe to that myself. Here's the thing: wide receiver. Everybody wanted wide receivers. As Papa K was talking about earlier, you have Equinemius St. Brown coming back. You have Reggie Beagleton or Beagleton. I don't know how you pronounce it, but whatever. He's Canadian. He's from Canada, so there's probably an "oo" in there somewhere. And then you have.
Hold on. Remember, you also have.
This is Alan Lazard, aka the Lizard King, and you're listening to Titletown Sound Off Podcast. Go Pack, go!
A lot of passion in that.
So basically, with the wide receiving core, we have the same group coming back as last year, minus Geronimo Allison plus Devin Funchess.
Yeah, and the Canadian dude.
Yeah, and the Canadian dude. So to me, that's not any worse than it was last year. That's better to me. I think Devin Funchess is better than Geronimo Allison. Okay. I don't think he's necessarily the answer, but I think he's better than Allison.
But you also have, you still have Devontae Adams,
right?
So you don't need another Devontae. Like no team has two Devontae Adamses. That's an unrealistic expectation.
What people wanted. I really don't.
No, I know, I get that, but my point is that like James is saying, like like they have slightly upgraded the wide receiver, and it might not be that big
Well,
splash,
and it's
but
not,
it is a slight upgrade.
and for what they're going to do, what I think they're going to do, I think they're stocked at wide receiver. I really do. If they're going to be predicated off the run,
you're not going to see 4 and 5 receivers
Right.
spreads. That's just not going to happen anymore.
right? You're going to see 2, 3 tight ends. You're going to see,
Well, I see 11 tight ends. Well, 10 if Dom Capers is in charge of the defense.
Well, no, you'll see
Or 12.
you'll see 26 if we play the Bears. So no, I mean, I think people need to chill out and wait and see what they're not just what the guys they drafted, but what they're going to do with them before they make any kind of judgment on, are we better? The Packers were 13-3 last year. That, and a lot of people say they overachieved, fine. Whatever. But you can't expect for them to come back this year, go 11-5, 10-6, and people to be, dissatisfied with. I wouldn't be dissatisfied with that. It's a tough league. As Papa K said, the Vikings got better, which kills me to say.
Yeah.
The Cowboys got better. The Saints got better. We didn't need to get that much better. We really didn't. We were 13-3. 13-3. People are acting like that was some sort of, magic trick.
And a wide receiver isn't going to beat San Francisco 2 times.
No, yes, our wide receivers were about the last problem that we had against San Francisco.
Okay, all right, so I'm there with you, but that doesn't answer the lack of defensive help, the middle of the field help. We got an inside linebacker, but that's where I see a big issue too.
Well, as far as that goes, so the inside linebacker they got, I think, is more to plug gaps with rush defense. I don't think he's going to be expected to be out there doing a lot of coverage.
Right.
As long as Christian Kirksey stays healthy, he's actually pretty good at that. So I'm not worried about that. Plus, they're going to have Raven Green back. He's healthy. He was playing that role really well before he got hurt last year. And Shannon Sullivan, he's good at that too. So I'm more concerned about the run defense because that's what San Francisco just murdered us on. Just a lot of teams, not even just them.
Right.
Just demolished the Packers at running the ball. And I don't think the Packers got any better there. So that kind of sticks in my craw a little bit.
Kevin, what do you think about that? The lack of defensive picks in this draft?
Yeah, I think that's a fair criticism. I think when I look at the draft as a whole, it does to me look like it's not necessarily a short term, and it's more of a long term type of filling the holes that they'll have in the long term. And so that's kind of, whether or not you like that or disagree with it, like that's this draft is especially unique in having to wait to see how it plays out because, like Papa K said, all these teams he listed that got better than the Packers. If there's no football next year, they might all regress behind the Packers because of this draft that they had. You don't know. I'm just saying, if you draft a wide receiver in the first round straight out of college and you don't see him for 6 months, he might gain 25 pounds. And right, the freshman 25, right? And I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody. I'm just saying, like, I can understand why that might help guide your draft decision making if you think that that's legitimate, and it might not have anything to do with it at all.
Right.
But I can't imagine that you're not thinking about that a little bit when it comes to player development, how that's going to affect things.
Yeah, you got to think that's part of it. Okay. Let's take a break. We've been going for about 35 minutes.
Thank God.
And before we get out of here, though, we want to talk about some OG patrons. These are the patrons that keep this place the lights on, and there are 6 lights in this room, so they're carrying their weight. Kevin, who are these wonderful people?
All right. So, as you guys probably know, I have several connections within the pretzel industry, both at Auntie Annie's and Wetzel's Pretzels.
Oh, you were able to. Wow, you're able to bridge the gap between the two of them. Usually, they don't like.
I've got it's a cross-device integrate. Yeah, it's really great stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so with 99.9999% certainty, these pretzel facts, are true for our patrons. Okay,
Right.
So according to credit card purchase data from 2018. When Scott Neer was window shopping for snowshoes, he purchased a pepperoni pretzel nuggets bucket with cheese sauce from Auntie Annie's. Incidentally, those same credit card records indicate he spent $44 on Charmin toilet paper approximately 4 hours later. So I thought that was an interesting tidbit of knowledge.
I can see it.
Jason always gets the hot salsa cheese dip with his pretzel. He always finishes the dip, despite not always finishing the pretzel. I'm not sure what that's about. Milo Meat Song.
Yeah.
Milo has a cinnamon sugar pretzel nuggets on auto ship through Amazon.
Wow, that's dedication.
Yeah. They come hot too. That's the interesting thing. They're delivered so frequently that they're still warm when he gets them.
Brand loyalty.
Hunter Schur was 11 when he visited the magical world of Benzel's Pretzels in Altoona, Pennsylvania. The Wonka-like experience inspired Hunter to his current job as the head of operations at the Julius Sturgis Pretzel Bakery in Lilletz, Pennsylvania. Chris Korsmo. Chris can twist 58 pretzels in a minute and is the current world record holder. Jeff has been practicing yoga for the last 4 months in preparation for his pretzel Halloween costume. Jeff, sent us pics. And did you know that Pennsylvania produces 80% of the pretzels in the United States? James Hamblin produces the other 20%.
Thank you to our patrons, all of you. If you want to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/TTSO. For a small or large per episode donation, you help the show run. All right, we're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the Packers, more about what this draft means for the team. We got about 1 million minutes worth of voicemails. And James, I know you have some topics you want to address. All of this. I don't know.
Should I get another beer?
Yeah, probably.
Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one.
Well, it could hurt, but
The answer to that question is always
We'll be right back after just a few moments. Did you know that you can help support our show financially without any additional cost to you? Well, if you use Amazon, and let's face it, who doesn't? You can go through our Amazon affiliate link, and we'll get a small portion of the proceeds. You pay nothing extra, and you still get your awesome stuff delivered in like 2 days. So go to www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon and just order like you normally would, and you help the show. That's www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon. Happy shopping.
If you would like to support the show and help others find it, give us a review and a rating. Go to Apple Podcasts and write something nice and give us 5 stars. Thanks.
You missed the real show. You're not watching live on YouTube with us. How can you do that? Go to our YouTube channel. Find us at YouTube. Then search Titletown Sound. Click the subscribe button. And then go ahead and click that little stupid bell that all the the unboxing vloggers are telling you to click, because it really does help the channel.
I hate that so much.
But it helps the channel. We are the channel. So click it, and if we get 200 subscribers, which is not a lot, I will do an unboxing on the show.
Oh,
I don't know what it'll be.
and if we get 300, I will do a reboxing on the show.
Nice.
I'll get
If we
fan
get
tape and
400,
everything.
I will box somebody.
I was going to say we
You
get
name
400. James will do Foxy boxing.
Foxier the better.
All right, James, you have some patrons that you want to talk about. These are our Hall of Famers, and they're amazing as well.
Speaking of Foxy, yes, I have some. I have Paul Goldsack. I have Kyle Turpinning, DJ Lightfoot, and Will Zine Savage, who all of whom I found out about 10 minutes ago were just signed as undrafted free agents by Goody. So congratulations, fellas. None of them are wide receivers, though. Is the problem.
So what was the thing, James? What was the number one thing that irked you about this draft or the things surrounding the draft?
I hate people.
I knew that one.
I just do. Let me put this to get the soapbox out for a minute, guys. I'm sorry, I have to. I'm gonna look right in the camera. So if you're watching this on YouTube, the one of you that is just
hold on. If this is really, I'm gonna do something. Let's see.
Yeah, camera one.
Here we go. Nope. I just muted you. All right. I got that now.
Camera one, camera two, camera one.
All right, James. Now it's all you. They could hear us,
monologue, see
you, so that you could really connect with our audience. I don't know why. By the way, I'm using these giant hand gestures as I talk to you, which no one can see.
Remember, the camera adds 300 to 400 pounds. People, we have to have a chat. If you are one of the people that went on social media following every pick and talked about how you hate the pick, or even if you love the pick, and you gave some sort of evaluation of the pick, reevaluate your life. Do it. Reevaluate yourselves as human beings. Look, I don't know a lot about. I hate this time of year. It's the anti-Christmas for me. I hate it. And that is the exact reason why, because for a month leading up to the draft, I have to look at people spouting off about college prospects who they've watched a half hour of YouTube video on. And now they're, basically their high school coach. And during the draft, I have to look at people talking about how, these picks aren't, they're not going to fit in the scheme, and they're bad and they're overreaching. What you're doing is you're completely slapping grown men and women in a front office of professional football teams in the face. People who devote 70 hours a week, maybe more, to nothing but scouting and evaluating players to bring onto the teams. You're telling those people that you are better than them. You're not. Okay. I love to eat. That's not a secret. I'm not going to go.
I put my camera back on because I led to believe there were snacks.
Pretzels, maybe.
I'm not going to go to the restaurant and pick up my food and bring it home because that's where we're at right now. And then be like, that sauce could have used a tablespoon more butter. No. Screw it. I hate it so much. None of us.
But hold on. That's a bad analogy. You know how I feel about your analogizing, James. I think it's amazing usually. But that's not good because you have experience. Because you have consumed many a dish.
So a lot of food.
Say, needs a skosh more butter.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You've never worked at 1265 Lombardi. That's just like Gutekunst doesn't have to be a Hall of Fame player to be able to evaluate talent, just like you don't have to be a Michelin star chef to be able to eat the F out of stuff.
Which goes, so let me change my analogy because I think I have a better one now.
Please.
It would be like if I sat at home and live tweeted the Miss Universe pageant. I'm not gonna. That's not anything I'm ever.
Dude, from my basement.
I don't know anything about that world other than I like to look at pretty things, and that sounded terrible, and I didn't mean it like that. But
that's what I got with me, James.
I'm not qualified to judge things that are outside of my scope of knowledge, and no matter how much YouTube footage or all 22 footage or whatever you watch, you're not sitting in an office for 12 hours a day, or at home, I guess now, because you can't be in the office. It's not your life, unless it is, at which point, whew. So stop.
But even if it is, you don't still have the access that the teams do. So
Right. You don't interview the players. You don't.
Okay, so let me go devil's advocate, because I agree that you can't usually say that's a bad pick because you don't know, especially in this draft. But I think that one criticism that is fair is if you say, I don't think that, like, this draft pissed me off because it didn't address what I believe are the team's needs. Now, again, we disagree with that front office person. That's at least, I think, a reasonable position. I couldn't tell you if Dylan or wait, I have to look at the names now. Or DeGuara, is it DeGuara? Is that how we're pronouncing it? Because I didn't listen.
Josiah DeGuara.
That's a solid name. We don't know if he was taken too early, too late. If he's, the next famous hybrid fullback tight end. We don't know.
Kyle Juszczyk.
But
is that how you pronounce that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna.
So anyway, I guess I kind of respect the opinion that I don't think this was the right strategy. But when you start trying to tell, I've been watching this guy and I've been breaking down film. Shut up! Like, I could break down film too. It wouldn't mean anything, but I could do it.
Well, here's like, so if I tweeted yesterday or the day before, I forget which. Basically, we don't know what their game plan is, and I tweeted about the wide receiving core and how we're actually probably better off than we were last year. And I don't know how many people that retweeted me going, "What a stupid take," or "This is really dumb." Tell me why then. Tell me why it's dumb to think that losing our worst wide receiver, arguably, and gaining a veteran who actually is good when he's healthy, plus another guy is a bad take. Like, tell me, right. I don't get where people, like, they have this false sense of importance, this false sense of intelligence. Stop pretending to be more intelligent than you are. That's like, just stop it. I'm dumb as hell. I'm okay with it. Why isn't everybody else?
I mean, me personally, like, it's like, just stop trying to be, just be smart,
Be cool.
Mm.
All right.
How is that?
Streak free.
Yeah, that was solid. We are going to we have a lot of voicemails. So let's go to the voicemails so that we don't leave people out. I couldn't include everything. Some of them we didn't know when we were broadcasting, so some of the calls from right before the draft I didn't include. But anyway, here's our first voicemail from caller's name is Jason.
What's up, Titletown Sound? This is Jason Spriggs calling. Found a new home in Chicago where I can start all the games alongside the team. We're going to win 4 whole games this year. Right? I'm going to get to play every single snap. An offense with 2 worthless quarterbacks alongside my new best friend on every single play, Jimmy Graham. Man, me and Jimmy, we're going to block so well. It's going to be lit. Me and him are sharing housing now during quarantine, and it is great. He has a nice house. He lets me live in his dumpster for free. We're like best friends. Get to sit outside his house, and his security guards give me awkward looks. It's the best feeling. He was my bro, Jimmy G. Now, man, we're going to block so great. Darius Smith comes to town. We're going to be able to block him for 0.1 seconds before he gets through and sacks the quarterback. I don't give a name with the quarterback because I don't know who it will be. I still have the 32nd best quarterback in the league, which is a really big accomplishment, actually. And I think we should be really proud of it. It'll be like the 70th something best tackle in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. But I'll still get to start every game next to my bro, Jimmy G. We're going to block so well together.
I think they're going to block well together.
Yeah, they're going to block. Anyway,
gathering.
Look, I think that was a fine parody call, but I think what people don't understand, usually the key to the great parody call is the brevity. Like, the only parody that I've heard that I think gets better the longer it gets is the Sheik. I'm sorry, he's real. I forgot.
What do you mean parody?
Iron Sheik,
Dude.
real. Wow, that's awkward.
I do take umbrage with one thing that he said. I think Nick Foles does have one big advantage.
I'll give the eyebrow raised look. Maybe that'll end up being the
his cup runneth over, so to speak.
All right, our next voice
runneth over
from Eli. I'm not sure what time when this was called in, but I guess we'll hear it together. I didn't screen any of these this week beyond listening to the beginning of them, so they could curse like sailors for all I know.
That's awesome.
I picture it real quick.
Hey, this is Eli. This is going to be my third take. First one, I feel like I wasn't elegant enough. Second one, I just got disconnected. So third try is the charm. I want to react to the Jordan Love decision. Everything I've seen, analysis, the highlights that I've watched, very few, and his interviews, I like him. So nothing against him. I like him. I think a good backup quarterback, is in need for this team, especially based on what we experienced with Hundley years prior, and based on the fact that we had Deshaun Kaiser, and we've not really had a good backup for Rodgers, sans Matt Flynn's heroics here and there. So it's a need. The part that I can't wrap my head around and that bothers me the most is that it was a first-round pick and that we moved up via trade to get it. The plan makes sense because of the Favre Rodgers thing. But where it doesn't make sense is it seems that Rodgers has not toyed with retirement like Favre did. And Rodgers dropped in the Packers' lap. That's not what happened here. So I can't wrap my head around it. Even though I think he's a good player, he's fine, and he'll be a quality backup and may become a great starter. For 2-3 years from now, Packers are going to have an interesting decision. And they may have already made it. They may have made it last night. It's so weird. And it's sometimes, as a fan, it is hard to reconcile the mortality of these gods that we've had as quarterback. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think this is something that this draft should make you come to terms with. Unless Aaron Rodgers wins another Super Bowl in the next 3 years, these are your last 3 years watching Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. Now, look, things change. There are obviously variables, but it sure seems that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to come to terms with. It really is. I could possibly see the fourth year because the third year there'd be a $17 million cap hit. That's still a lot. But yeah, I don't know. It's sad. I don't want to talk about it. It makes my heart hurt.
Well, Jordan Love will probably fail, and we won't have a good. Statistically, I'm just speaking statistically. But
well, especially when you have two Hall of Famers back to back, your odds for a third one isn't terrific.
That's the gambler's fallacy, and
that's why I always let it ride when I hit on roulette.
I thought Nick Foles had the gambler's phallus.
Fallacy.
Oh, fallacy. Sorry.
Different. No, he's not gambling. That is a winner.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube and you wonder what James, Chris, and I were laughing about, what I would suggest you do is Google rolled up sausage and then picture that inside of a jockstrap.
And that's Nick Foles. All right, let's go to Milo's call.
Socially distant hello to everybody. It's Milo. I wanted to just call in and share my feelings about that first-round pick with Jordan Love. I like him. I was kind of hoping we would get him at some point, just as like for the reasons they decided to go with him in the first round here. I have had a day to sort of think about it, and it's kind of a bummer that they traded up to get him, because I don't think anybody was going to try and jump us in the draft to get him. But even if they did, I would have rather not given up a 4th-round pick to use it, or use that trade up to get somebody that we could have used right now. But I think it'll be all right in the long run. I'm hoping that it works out well, that he takes to the system right away. In learning under Rodgers for a few years, he gets to hammer out some of the kinks. If nothing else, hopefully he'll become useful trade baits. But it was a little disappointing, but we still have 8 more picks in this draft. If we can get a wide receiver to linebacker to shore up the defense and some O-line to protect Rodgers, I think we can still be in the win now discussion. Barring, knock on wood, barring any injuries to the Smiths, we should still be good on defense. So if we shore up the offense, I don't think we, shot ourselves in the foot or anything over it. I think it was just a missed opportunity. But I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. See you later.
We have a little bit to say, and we've said a lot of it already. But I played that one because people were still holding on to hope that they were going to take a receiver in there. And after you got past the 2nd round, quite honestly, they could have taken a receiver, because if you're taking a 3rd, 4th, 5th round receiver, you're not taking a player that's going to have an impact that year anyway. I mean, that's just.
Has Milo called in before?
I'm not positive.
Because that voice, man, that's a hell of a voice. Some nice pipes he got on there, Milo.
How would you describe Milo's voice in one word?
Scrumptious.
Kevin? Are you muted?
I was. I thought I clicked it. Scrumtrulescent. That's what
I'm
I'm
going
going.
luscious, but I think your words were better. Yeah, well, they were still holding on to hope. But again, like I said, I think after the 2nd round, you're not getting a receiver that can have any impact. And it's debatable whether a 1st or 2nd round receiver would.
I mean, Justin Jefferson would have probably been good.
I'm not hating this draft. That's what I'm doing, and I know I'm doing it on purpose, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, Justin Jefferson is somebody I know the Packers liked, but he was, they weren't willing to move up to get him, and he was gone. So, it is what it is.
My understanding is you cannot select somebody after they've already been selected. Is that correct, James?
Yes, that is called the Red Rover. That's called the Red Rover rule.
You can't make them come over?
You can't.
All right. We've got Dakota's voicemail up, but he's already said in the chat that we're going to hate his call. Probably, but that has, yeah. All right, here we go.
Hey, y'all, this is Dakota. I was just calling about one of the prospects in general. I'm actually familiar with, of course, Love, but A.J. Dillon, Josiah DeGuara, John Runyon, and Jonathan Garvin, because I would mock them consistently to the Packers.
That's not very nice.
But I'm just going to talk about A.J. Dillon. So I know everybody was disappointed when they picked a running back in the 2nd round, and I'm still disappointed at the fact it's a running back. I mean, we ain't got any wide receivers, but I ain't here to dwell on that. I just wanted to tell y'all about this man, A.J. Dillon. Now, he was used as a focal point in Boston College in a power run game. That's what they did. They ran the ball. That's basically it. They threw it every now and then. And this man, again, was the focal point. Now, in 2017, 2018, and 2019, he ran 1,500, 1,100, and 1,600 yards, respectively, past line of scrimmage. But this man would be lined up consistently 5 to 10 yards, a lot of times 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's a lot of yardage he had to get. They used him as a wideout, or rather they lined him out as a wideout. He only has 21 total receptions, but he has 0 drops, which is what you want if he has so few receptions. Again, they didn't really throw the ball. However, in 2019, he did average 15.5 yards per reception. Y'all, it's 15.5 average yards per reception. This man would catch balls further than 15.5 yards. That's crazy for a 247-pound running back that's only supposed to be good at the power run game. Anyway, point is, when you see A.J. Dillon out on the field or on a field, It's not just going to be a run. It could be anything. He's a great blocker. He can actually run some routes. He'll get better at it. He'll go through strength and conditioning with the Packers and the NFL. This man can be an absolute beast. And I really hope he is, because, dear Lord, we needed one of those wide receivers. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.
I did not hate Dakota's
I
call.
didn't hate that call at all. That was a good call.
Yeah, it was well thought out and very level headed. I mean, you're
that's
entitled
why-
to your opinion.
That's why he expected us to hate it, because it was
Good
As-
point.
It's well researched too, which we are not known for.
So
Yeah.
the thing is, I can't wait to watch this guy play football. I think he's going to be fun to root for. Like he's like an old NFC North. Like, yeah, this is
his nickname is the Sauce, for crying out loud. How can you not get behind that?
yeah.
It's like if Bruce Springsteen was this. It's kind of like that, but it's Sauce instead.
Okay, a little different. It's a little bit okay. We do have one more call. We're already past an hour, but let's play Don's call. Here it is.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Don calling in. I know guys complain a lot about the draft lately, but I wanted to kind of give some positive draft recap. So here we go. Jordan Love, not a super surprising pick, actually. Of course, we all would rather draft with a win now attitude, but this can be Goody's legacy pick. If it doesn't pan out, then it just means Rodgers continues to play at a high level. If he does become a starter, then that also means he has the talent to unseat Rodgers. Sounds like a win-win to me. A.J. Dillon. This could be an amazing 1-2 punch with Jones and Dillon. He's that pounder we need in December and January. With one, the expectations for Dillon won't be super high, so we can ease him into the offense. He could end up being a huge factor in closing out some games this season. Desire DeGuara, the way Goody and LaFleur talked about him during the presser automatically gives me high hopes that he can be the utility guy like Juszczyk in San Francisco. Film of him playing multiple different spots. Looks really good, inline, slot, wide, in the backfield. Excited to see what he brings to us. Kamal Martin, he's a Big Ten linebacker who doesn't wear sleeves during outdoor games in Minnesota. Sign me up. He can attack the line of scrimmage, playing coverage. If he absorbs everything he can from that linebacker room, he can be the gem of this draft. John Runyon Jr., it's a good chance he kicks inside to guard and takes over for Billy Turner. He's a legacy player. If he has that mean streak that his dad had, then he can be a solid late-round lineman. The rest of the guys seem more like depth chart guys, which you can expect late in the draft. But I like Garvin from Miami. He can be edge number 4 in Green Bay, and if he's a sponge behind the Smith Pros, he can really develop into a good talent. So just wanted to give some positive draft recap. It's not all bad. So we'll kind of see where these picks go down the road. Go Pack, go.
Don, that was an entire recap of the Packers draft with analysis in 1 minute 56 seconds. And that makes it this week's Titletown Sound Call of the Week. Kev, play that jingle.
It's the call of the week because he had the best call. And now we get to talk about it all because the call of the week is so much fun to do. Let's do it again. Oh, yeah. How about you?
Nice. The Call of the Week brought to you by Culver's.
The jingle was longer than the call.
It's still a work in progress. All right, look, we are.
No, that's the final version. That's it. Straight to vinyl.
We are 64 minutes into this debacle. Hopefully, this brought you off the ledge a little bit. Just thinking about this draft has brought me back from the ledge a little bit. Kevin, before we get out of here, what do you have to add? I know the answer, but.
Well, it is nothing. But again, this draft, unlike any other, I think time is going to tell more than usual. So I know we always have knee-jerk reactions after every draft, but this one, it feels like they're jerkier for whatever reason. But it'll be fine. Don't worry, guys.
And by the way, before we get out of here, we are going to play the skit, our new skit, which we released on YouTube and in our Facebook group this week. But if you're familiar with our old skits, we got one after we get out of here. We'll play it at the end of the show. James, before we get out of here, what do you have to add?
If you've made it 66 rough minutes into this thing,
Rough.
Rough. Tweet us the word. Let's go with kerplunk.
All right, kerplunk it is. And
Someone has to poop.
and also, because we forgot to talk about it, maybe we'll cover it next week. You could also tweet at us #racist_kicker, and we will discuss what that means.
Oh yeah.
When we reconvene, because I think we have to talk about the racist.
Oh
kicker.
yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to the skit, then we're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us this week. Thanks especially to our patrons, everybody that supports the show. We really appreciate it. Go give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. And here is our skit, the NFL Draft, live from Roger Goodell's basement. Welcome, everyone, to the 2020 National Football League Draft. Please welcome the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell.
Welcome, everybody, to the 2020 NFL Draft. As everyone knows, these are turbulent times. Social distancing has become the norm, and we are taking all precautions.
Roger, has your little Zim Zoom party started yet? Do you want some lemonade, Roger? How about something to eat there, Roger?
Thank you, Mother, but I'm fine. And yes, the NFL Draft, of which I am the commissioner, has begun. In fact, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock.
Oh, Roger, I don't want you going to Cincinnati right now. Those coronas is everywhere, Roger. I will tell you, your father, God rest his soul, he always liked to go to Cincinnati for his business attire. Something about their bow ties just tickled his fancy.
Okay, Mother, that's quite enough, thank you. Please go back to your stories.
Oh, I'll make you something nice, Roger. You're a good boy.
As I was saying, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock to draft.
I turned the heat up a bit, Roger. I know you like it warm, just like how your father would always travel to Cleveland for a nice steam. Oh, you worry me so. Talking about the draft down there in that basement. You don't want to catch the cold, Roger.
Mother, I'm the commissioner of the NFL. The yearly college draft is this weekend. I should be in Vegas right now, fresh off a burlesque review and a Caesar's Palace buffet. But I'm at home in the basement, and the closest I'll get to that Thunder from Down Under show is my free Pornhub premium membership. We all have roles to play here, Mother. My role is to lead the most prosperous league in all of professional sports through the toughest time we've ever seen. Your role, Mother, is to stay upstairs, out of the damn way. Can you please just play your role, Mother?
Rolls? I got an oven full of pizza rolls for you and your friends, Roger. Or do you want me to make you some pigs in a blanket? Ooh, and potato skins? Oh, you know what, Roger? I'll just make you a Pittsburgh poo-poo platter. Your father loved those too.
Mother, get out of here!
We'll be back after these commercial messages for more of your NFL Draft. The 2020 NFL Draft, and when we return, we'll have a special celebrity guest. That's right, John Stamos. Oops, I hit the wrong button.
Smooth.
All right, well, I guess the show's over now since I screwed up the skit.
It's all right.
If you want to hear those last 6 seconds, go to our YouTube page where it's available.
Always leave them wanting more.
Master of the cliffhanger.
I'm such an idiot. Oh, Christ.
The preceding podcast was a production of Productions Institute, LLC. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. Don't steal our crap.